Welcome, everyone, to Living Well. We're so glad that you joined us this afternoon to hear about steps to living well. So for over the last 3 years, Emma and I have been talking about living well, living well, living well. What does that really mean? And how do you apply that to your everyday life? So what we're going to talk about today are those very simple steps. There'll be 8 steps that we'll talk about today. And we hope and we pray that you will include each of those steps into your life incrementally over a period of time so that you can live well, not only now, but for eternity. So this program is for educational purposes only. We do not assess, diagnose, or treat any conditions whatsoever. But what we do is we provide education that can be applied to your life. It's from research, from biblical references, as also from personal experiences. So I want you to get a piece of paper and pen. This is going to be really important today, that you have something that you can write on, because we will ask you some questions about how you will want to apply some of these things to your life. So I'm going to start out. And Emily, we're pretty excited about today's program, aren't we?
We are. I am. Yes.
Yeah, so we're really excited because we know that if we apply these steps, we can help prevent disease and prolong our life. And so many of us know of someone who has hypertension, diabetes, or obesity or something. And many times people make New Year's resolutions. But what we're talking about today is a lifetime resolution to live healthy. So the purpose of today's presentation really is pretty simple. We want to discuss some practical ways to live well, prevent diseases, preserve your health, and to enhance your spiritual well-being. And it's really important that we realize it's all of these that we are incorporating. Also, we want to give you some suggestions of how to sustain lifestyle changes. We know many times we want to start something, but the big thing is how do we sustain it? So in 1 Corinthians 3:16 and 17, we're hoping this will be the big sustain, that we know that our body is a temple of God and that the Spirit of God lives within us. We also know if any man defiles the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God is holy, which temple we are. And to think about our bodies as somewhere where God dwells kind of puts it in a different context, other than I just want to lose weight, or I want to get into that dress, or I want to eat better or do better. It really puts it in the context of that our body belongs to God. And so when we talk about steps to living well started at creation. In Genesis, the Bible clearly outlines what God expected Adam and Eve to do at creation. He gave them everything they needed. He gave them the environment they needed, the fresh air, the water, the herbs, the seeds, everything they needed. And we know that sin came into the world. And when it came into the world, that did not change, that God still wanted us to live well. And so when Jesus came, he said, I've come that you may have life and you may have it more abundantly. So what that means is that when he came, he wanted us to have that more abundant life, but he left it up to us to choose how we would live. So when we talk about living well on this program, it's not only for now, but to help prepare us for eternity. So there's some fun facts about, or fast facts about living well. Number one, we know that lifestyle diseases are preventable. Most of the diseases we have, we bring upon ourselves by the way we eat, what we do, and what we don't do. We also do know that sticking to a lifestyle habit can be pretty challenging. Even if you say we're going to go to bed, drink our water, and do all those exercise, it can be challenging to do that. But we do know if you develop a routine, it makes it so much easier to adhere to lifestyle practices. But I would say one of the facts about changing anything in your life, you need to do it slowly to gain sustainable results. That's important. And it takes about, believe it or not, I was doing some research, it takes 18 up to 254 days to actually develop a habit. And they said on an average it's 66 days. So you may hear people say 21 days, you may hear people say a week, but it really varies from person to person. But it's most important that you know that when you start something, you're in for the long haul. It's not a short haul, you're in for the long haul. And also creating a routine leads to a healthier life, healthier habits. It also reduces your risk of diseases. Now, many of us know someone with some type of disease, and probably if they had to live it all over again, they would try to prevent it, because we know most diseases, especially the chronic diseases, require medicine. And the medicine is very, very expensive. And sometimes it requires hospitalization, which can also be very taxing on your budget. So there's 8 steps to living well, and many of these we've talked about on the program before, but today we're going to talk more specifically how these lifestyle changes can be followed for a lifetime for an individual. So when you make a choice, when you rest, environment, activity, we'll talk about all of these. I'll talk about the first 4, and then Emilyn will talk about the trust in God, interpersonal relationships, outlook, and nutrition. And Emilyn, I must apologize in advance. I actually put a trust in God in mine versus the activity. So I'll still talk about it. All right, so let's talk about choices. So choices we can make can determine our health. We do know that some diseases are from genetics. We know that, but many diseases we have are from lifestyle habits. Some occur at birth, some occur along the way, but we want to make sure that we know that we can affect our health by the lifestyle choices that we make. We also know that some things that influence our health choices and our behavior is the knowledge you have. The more knowledge you have about what you do and don't do and how it affects your health, important. Your attitude, your values, your beliefs, all of those affect how you behave. So if you really believe eating well contributes to a healthier life, you're more likely to do that. Some people have religious beliefs about what they do. Others have family values. You've heard people say, oh, we passed down this recipe all through the generations. Everybody makes their, let's say their potato salad or their dish this certain way. And many times people do not know that what we do has a positive or negative effect. And the choices we make today determines our health today, not tomorrow, today. So when we eat that sugar today, it's going to affect our body today. When we eat unhealthy today, it's going to affect our body today. We may not see the results. It takes a long time many times for these health things to surface in our body. But again, we need to know that it does affect us. Some of our health choices are detrimental to our well-being. People know that smoking is bad for you, drinking is bad for you. We know all of those big ones, but there are some foods that we eat also that we know that are not healthy for us. When we have foods that have dyes in it, the red dyes, the yellow dyes, the blue dyes, all to make the food look really colorful, all of those things affect our health today. But we know that what we do to our body affects our family. So if you get sick, it affects your children, your husband, your grandchildren. Everybody's affected by our health choices. So if we live well, they're not visiting us in the hospital. If we are eating poorly, that means that they may have to take care of us, and we may get some disability that they may require us to take care of. We have to make informed choices to transform your life. So we have to really be informed about our choices. Know the facts of why you are changing your diet or why you're changing whatever you're changing. Know the risks, know the benefits before you begin to act. So again, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God. That should help us make our choices. Are we eating and drinking and doing to the glory of God? That should be our guiding force when we're making choices. So when we're making good choices, it gives you control of how you're going to live your life. So when you make good choices, you're saying, I want to live healthy. I want to be able to be active. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to, whatever that is, you have it in your mind that I'm making good choices because I want to control my life. Change unhealthy habits before they change your health. This is important. We don't want to get a diagnosis before we decide we're going to make a change, because if your health is adversely affected by your unhealthy habits, many times it's hard to reverse it. It can, many diseases are reversible, but some are not. Our body fights hard every single day to stay well, every day. We have little, white blood cells to try to get rid of the bacteria, the viruses, all of these things. But if we keep on weakening our immune system, it makes it very difficult for the body to fight and to stay well. So the question you have, this is a question today. What areas of your life do you want to make better choices? And every time I speak about something, I'm going to put a question to you, and I'm going to ask you to respond. What areas of life do you want to make better choices? Because this conversation today is about we want to live well, not only now, but for eternity. So if it's, better choices, what you think, physically, what you do as far as exercise and activity, spiritually, as far as your relationship with God, emotionally, how you respond to stress, socially, how you interact with others, or professionally. All of these have affects our health positively or negatively, believe it or not. You can go to the gym every day, you can work out, but if you are stressed out, your body's not, it's going to respond to that. So when was the last time you had a good night's rest or good rest? Let's just say good rest. When was that last time? Think about it. When did you rest well? And you said, "Ooh, I feel great. I am so rested." Well, let's talk a little bit about rest. So rest means a respite from labor or exertion of any kind, refreshment, repose, obtained by a pause of activity, free from trouble, molestation, aggression, and so forth. It's a state of peace. Whether you're sleeping, whether you're on vacation, it is a state of peace. Whether you're just sitting and relaxing in your home, it's a state of peace. People take rest for granted. Many times we don't get enough rest and we say, oh, we'll catch up on the weekend, or I have a vacation coming up and then I'll rest. But rest needs every day. You need to build rest into your schedule. Rest is needed to maintain good health. When you don't get enough rest, you're more likely to be agitated, irritable, aggressive, all of those things. And many times lack of rest does not give the body time to rejuvenate, replenish, and detox. And so it can affect your health. Inadequate rest leads to dis-ease, depression, and a negative outlook. People who don't get enough rest, you'll find that anything you try to say, they tend to be more negative. They can't even see the positive because their mind is not clear. Rest helps us recover from strains of life and illnesses. So when you're under a lot of stress, the best thing you do is turn off the phone, turn off the TV, turn things down, and just rest the mind. If you go through a stressful time in your life, grief, disappointment, divorce, even marriage, you need time to rest because it is a strain of life. And if you know, when you go to the hospital, many times they'll put you in a bed and they'll tell you to rest in the bed. They want you to rest. So again, what we want to do is we want to rest before we have to, and you can build it into your everyday routine. So the Bible says in Matthew 11:28-29, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest unto your souls. So again, the Bible talks about rest. It encourages you to rest. It encourages you to take anything that's concerning you to God. So taking periods of rest throughout the day, just closing your eyes. If you work, lunch breaks. Don't skip your lunch break. Don't skip your breaks that they give to you. Take your break. Walk outside. Get fresh air. Set a bedtime. Set a wake-up time. Use an alarm clock or on your phone to alert you 1 hour before bedtime so you can start winding down. So it would be interesting to know from this group, how many have set a bedtime and a wake-up time? Put it in the chat. So when you set a bedtime and a wake-up time, you don't want to let phone calls or anything interrupt your rest schedule. You want to make sure that you're able to rest. And then schedule at least one vacation per year. Now, Emilyn goes on vacation every 3 months or so, but she's special because she's retired now. She's loving it. And I'm so excited for Emilyn because she's worked so hard, raising her children, being a wife, being a nurse, being a manager. And so we need to schedule at least one vacation per year. And if you can go more frequently, that's great. I've actually been blessed this last year to go on several lengthy vacations, which I have praised God for. But they were very good for my mind, body, and spirit. So just changing your environment can also be rest. Sometimes people say, I'm going to do a staycation, so they stay home. That is still can be a rest. But what you want to do is you want to let go and you want to rest. If you take a vacation off a job, they will continue to work while you're not there. If you choose not to participate in an organization, they'll continue to function after you're gone. You want to make sure that you have harmony and balance in your life. So here's your question. Okay, what time will you set for bedtime? Because beginning today, we want to live well for the rest of our life. What time will you set for bedtime? Starting today. And what time will you set for wake-up time?
So my alarm is set for 9 o'clock,
Okay,
and then I should be in bed at that time, but no later. I must be asleep by 11.
okay.
And that's an improvement because I had really weird hours before.
Okay,
And I naturally wake up at 7, but if I have to get up before that, I set an alarm for that time.
okay. So you're set, pretty set. Waking up at 7 and getting to bed no later than 11. So good. Anyone else has a set bedtime, a set wake up time?
Yeah,
And
I have set a bedtime, but not a wake up time. I wake up whenever.
okay, so when's your bedtime, Emilyn?
I try to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so 10 o'clock is my bedtime.
And your wake up time?
And then I usually wake up somewhere around 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock.
Okay,
No, I wake up.
great.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So the question is, where will you go on vacation this year, Lord willing? Where will you go?
Who, me?
Anyone?
Oh,
Anyone has a vacation set up?
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyone?
Yes.
Come in, this, like, come in, not what we did already.
Okay, no.
I mean, I'm going to, I'm gonna go to the convention. in
Okay.
July.
San Francisco?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
great.
I'm thinking about February to go on the hill, but that I'm not sure yet. I need a partner.
Okay, great. All right, so set a vacation for this year. This year, I'm scheduled to go to Jamaica in August. Have not been there before, actually going to a wedding, but the wedding's only one day. So outside of the wedding, there'll be things that we can do.
Yeah, it's lovely.
So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so go ahead and plan it, because again, if you don't plan it, most likely you won't do it. So you want to plan time for rest, away from your routine. Rest is important. Okay. Let's see my next slide. There we go. So what's in your environment that's contributing to your health or to your sickness? Think about that as we go through these next few slides. Environment. Did you know that more than 12 million people around the world die every day, every year, because they live or work in unhealthy environments? Have you ever, when I read that, I was like, wow, that is incredible. And this is from the Healthy People 2030 website. So they're focusing on reducing people's exposure to harmful pollutants in the air, water, soil, food, and materials in the homes and the workplaces. So think about your environment. Many of the pollutants, environmental pollutants, they do cause health problems, respiratory diseases, heart disease, some type of cancer. And we know that people complain, oh, my sinuses are bothering me, oh, the pollen's high. But do you think that's the only thing that's causing irritable respiratory systems? Have they thought about what they're cleaning with? The chemicals that they clean with? What about the pollutants in the air? So people with low income are more likely to live in polluted areas and have unsafe drinking water. So what I would say, are there any harmful pollutants in your home or workplace? So I know people saying there's a sick building syndrome, where there's things, the paint or things in the air that causes them to have irritation to their respiratory system. And recently I heard of a company that everybody was, every time they got in the door, they became hoarse or runny noses. So they cleaned the carpet, that seemed to help. But again, be mindful of things that are in your environment. One important thing that we mainly miss is the beautiful nature environment that God has given to us at creation. Looking at the flowers, listening to the birds, looking at the moon, the sunset, the sunrise. I love sunrises, I love sunsets. I really do. And listening to the birds. And I don't know if I told you that at my office, there's a little bird that comes to my window in the morning, pecks on the window. And so I know that's God allowed me to enjoy nature, and I love looking out nature. But the upkeep of our home and our office, where there's clean or clutter, can affect our environment, can even affect the way we think and how we feel. So every 6 to 12 months, we should have a cleanup day where we give away things, throw away things, and keep things. It doesn't hurt to get rid of those things. If you're not wearing them, somebody else can. And again, it's easy to let things pile up. And the best thing to do is, if you're not using it, to get rid of it, because if you don't, someone's gonna have to go through it for you. And so it'd be better that you do that. And then lastly, reduce exposure to toxic chemicals. Use natural oils. Avoid using things like bleaches and strong chemicals. that they have in the store that they say will get your towel sparkling and your toilet, all that. Because what many of those things have a lot of toxins in them and fumes in them, and we don't realize, even perfumes, things that we put on our body, our skin is our largest organ, but we put a lot of chemicals on our body, those perfumes. I was just in Dubai last week and they had perfume shops everywhere. I couldn't even go into them because perfumes are irritating to my respiratory system. But people putting them on, they want to dab, and I don't want that on me because it affects me differently than everyone else. Yes, I want to smell good, but I can't put perfumes on because many of them have chemicals. But I can use natural oils, essential oils. Those are fine on my skin. But again, be mindful that we are not harming our health by putting chemicals on our skins or inhaling chemicals. Also, wear a mask. It's important that you wear a mask if you're around pollutants. I was cleaning out I have a shed in the back of my house last week. And as soon as I walked to the door, I could tell there was a lot of dust because I hadn't cleaned it in a while. And I put a mask on. And I'm glad I did because I was sweeping and there was quite a bit of dust. And so protect your respiratory system. You don't have to only wear masks when there's COVID or some type of respiratory, but if you're around strong scents and things like that, protect your respiratory system because many people get sick from respiratory conditions because of things that are in their environment. So your question to live well is, what will you change in your environment to live well? What's the one thing that you will change? Will you use more natural things to clean with? You could use vinegar instead of bleach. They said it's just as whitening as bleach is. It's not as strong. So again, think about what you would change. Do you need to change the position of the furniture in your home to focus out the window versus inwardly? Most of my furniture in my living room focus out so that I can see the window. One point I had the couch in front of the window facing the opposite way, but I like looking out. Would you go through your closet and get rid of things that you don't need? Would you go through your papers and get rid of things that you don't need? I was telling someone, I don't know why we keep light bills and phone bills for months and months and months. If you didn't pay it, they will turn it off. So those bills that are from 2 years ago, they can go in the garbage. They can be shredded because your lights are still on and your phones are still on. So many things that we hold on to is just traditional. But the reality is if you still have those services, especially that type of stuff, utilities, there's no need to keep that paper in your environment. And I think I'm going to stop here, Emilyn, because the trust is yours, and I'm going to turn it over to you. I didn't do activity because I actually skipped a letter, so I'll turn it over to you, Emilyn.
Okay. Well, continue to where Jennifer left off. The next thing we're going to talk about is trust in divine power. One of the first steps in trusting someone, you must know the person, and you do that by spending time with the person. Well, it is the same way for trusting in God and the divine power. We must spend time getting to know the one and only divine power in the world today, and that is Jesus, God the Father, or our Lord Jesus Christ. Spending time with him decrease our fears, lose loneliness and stress. Trust in divine power give us a sense of purpose, help us to stay grounded in time of distress, keep us firm and steadfast so we will not be shaken, help to build our faith in God and lessen our stress, thus keeping us away from diseases. Satan's goal and purpose is to distract us from this divine power of God. Therefore, he tries to rob us of our time with God by keeping our minds preoccupied with our endeavors. Instead of spending time studying the word of God and prayer, we just like our bodies need physical food, so does our soul need spiritual food. And to get spiritual food, the word of God must be part of our daily lives. So how does this look? How can we, what can we do to improve or to develop that trust in God? First of all, one of the things I think about is to carve out a time in your day to spend with him, preferable early in the morning, first thing in the morning, because you want to invite him into your life and into your fears for the whole day. So start off with reading, praying first thing in the morning. You might have to get up maybe a bit earlier, half an hour or so earlier in the morning to do that. What I find singing, at first when I used to do my devotion, I just used to go straight into reading and then praying. But I started singing and it helped me so much. I looked up research on what singing can do for the body. There's a wealth of research that the shows the impact on singing has on our health. Studies have shown that when people sing, they produce endorphins, um, oxytocin. Those are positive hormones that are released by the brain, which in turn lower stress and anxiety. We need our stress and anxiety lowered to start off the day. Also, it means when our stress hormones are lower, it also decreases cortisol, which is a hormone that we do not want, high levels of. Singing helps your body, helps you believe in yourself, increasing self-efficiency. Singing strengthens the immune system and also singing stimulate the vagus nerve. This was found, I found this in a Sign Up Foundation on their website. So these are, it's so simple. Just singing can do all of this for us. Another thing that we need to do, I think, is to read our Bible. Because, the word of God is, we find his words in the Bible. A study published in the Journal of Religion and Health found that regular Bible reading was associated with lower levels of depression and anxiety. Another study published in the Journal of Social and Clinical Psychology found that individuals who engage in regular Bible study report lower levels of stress and greater overall well-being. Prayer. Prayer helps lower our stress level. You're putting all your problems into the capable hand of God. It brings about a sense of hope, peace, gratitude, compassion, and forgiveness. These positive emotions help calm the cardiovascular system and thus reducing the level of stress. Dr. Rose Marin says that that prayer has been shown to have similar benefits to medication. Imagine prayer having similar benefits to medication. It can make you less reactive to negative emotion and less angry. So let's take some time to get to know God in a more positive, familiar way, personal way. The other one is interpersonal relationship. So Christ was a big believer in interpersonal relationship. He mingled with people. He met them at their level. He ministered to their needs and taught them the way of life. In the on the website, the Virginia Department of Health website shows various research suggesting that interpersonal relationships are linked to a longer life. In contrast to loneliness and social isolation, those are linked to poorer health, depression, and increase the risk of early death. Maintaining interpersonal relationship can also reduce stress and heart-related risk. And moreover, it brings you joy and happiness in your life. So how can we get more interpersonal relationship? What are the steps we need to follow? First, I think family is very important. So I think what we need to do is to take some time to spend with our family. Carve out some time in your day, in your week, where you can have some family time. Play games. A lot of times we are all in different rooms doing different things, especially on that cell phone or on the computer. But bring the family together. Play games. It helps to develop that bond that we need amongst our family. Be creative. Just create activities that you all can do together. Just simply going for a walk, visiting other family members. It's a good way to help spend family time together and to bond together. Cherish friendship. Friends are very important in our lives. There's a friend that's closer than a brother, according to Proverbs. So allow special moments with friends so we can help develop a stronger bond with them. Get to know your neighbors. Neighbors are also important, Keep an eye out. Sometimes you might live next to an elderly neighbor who might need help, maybe just taking her grocery or his grocery in when they come home, from the grocery store. Look around and see ways that you can be a better neighbor, get involved in church and community services, because there's so many needs out there. And when we do these things, when we go and help others, it also helps us. We also feel better about ourselves. The other one I want to talk about is outlook. So outlook, the way we look at life is very important. The way we think and the way we respond to life can have a positive or negative response on our outlook in life. A positive attitude goes a long way. The New York Times wrote an article on personal health to address one's outlook on life. The article suggested that having positive thoughts bring about a better outlook on one's life perspective. For example, some of the positive thoughts that we can be thinking about is like, look on the sunny side of life. You know, life is tough, no matter how you look at it. But there's always something positive that we can get out of life. So look on the sunny side of life. Turn your face towards the sun and the shadows will fall behind. So when we have problems, go about it in a positive way of handling those problems instead of a negative way, because we want to leave those problems behind. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. That I like that one. Every day might not be good, but there's something good. Let's look for the good, because by doing that, it puts positive thoughts in our mind. See the glass half full as half empty. So researchers are finding out having these types of positive thoughts goes a long way, can improve our health and extend life. Having positive emotion can boost the immune system, contrary to counteract depression when we have positive thoughts. Studies have shown an indisputable link between having a positive outlook and health benefits. Lowers blood pressure, lessens heart disease, and we can get better weight control and a healthier blood sugar level. So what can we do to have better outlook? How can we go about that? Give yourself positive feedbacks. Many times we are so hard on ourselves. We think about ourselves in a negative manner. But let us start thinking about ourselves positively. Tell yourself, these are some of the things that I do, because, I can have negative thoughts. But when I start having these thoughts, and you're feeling down and outcast, start thinking. Tell yourself that you are a child of the King.
Yes.
This is taken from Psalms 149, verse 2. That we are children of a king. Therefore, if we are children of a king, therefore we are prince and princess, and the king will take care of you.
Mhm.
Your father owns everything in this world. Psalms 50 verses 1 to 12 states that the cattle on 1,000 hills belong to him. Everything that moves in the fields, therefore, are mine, the Lord said. So if everything is his, our Father has more than enough to give to us when we need help. He knows our name. For him to know our name, Psalms 91:14 is very special, because someone knowing your name, that person has some interest in you. So our God, he cares, and he wants to take care of us. He wants no harm to come within our dwelling, Psalms 91:14. For he shall give his angel charge over thee, for he shall give his angel charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways, Psalms 91:10 to 11. By repeating these verses, having these scriptures in our minds, it will boost our self-esteem and give us a positive outlook. Be thankful. Gratitude is so important. Gratitude can have a significant impact on our mindset, our physical bodies, and ultimately overall well-being. Having a positive attitude, be thankful, helps us to cope with life's challenges. It helps improve sleep, increase feeling of happiness, decrease anxiety, and can even decrease blood pressure. Yet I found 3 ways to how you can practically practice gratitude. 1, notice good things, look for them, appreciate them. Those negatives, anything that negative come into our minds, try to push them out and start thinking positively. Savor, absorb, and really pay attention to those good things. So let us have more of a positive mindset. Express your gratitude to yourself. Write it down, or thank someone. Just by saying thanks to someone, sending a note. I know today, last week I went to church and this lady, she gave almost everybody a little, what was a pen, a gift, and a card saying Happy New Year. I felt that was so special. So today I went to church, I gave her a thank you card to say thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. So doing these things, and I felt so good about myself when I did that. So it helps, um, give us a positive attitude. A positive mind, positive attitude goes a long way. Practice journaling. So write down those things that you're thankful for. Maybe you can start writing down one thing, and then it might have, then you will see, oh, I have more than one thing I can be thankful for. So start writing down things that you are thankful for. That helps to reinforce your gratitude. Do not get despair. So, problems will come, but I want us to realize, talking to myself too, not to get despair, but keep a song in our heart, keep a song in your heart and his words on our lips while facing these challenges. Rely on your family and friends to help support you and stand there with you and pray with you. Very important. So those are some of the practical ways I think that we can show gratitude, that we can have a positive outlook, that we can, improve on outlook. The other point I want to talk about is nutrition. We have talked about nutrition extensively on this program, but I just want to remind us, nutrition is essential for a healthful lifestyle. Good nutrition helps fuel our body. In order for us to have energy, we need to put good fuel into our bodies. So the food that we eat, food supply nutrients to our body, which needs to maintain, we need this fuel to maintain brain health, muscle, bone, the nervous system, skin, blood, circulation, and in the immune system. All of those are important. So in order for us to have a healthy body. So proper nutrition also protects us from illness and diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, osteoporosis. On the other hand, poor or inadequate nutrition weakens the body, make the body vulnerable to disease and other illnesses. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, a healthy nutritional diet helps children grow and develop properly and reduce the risk for chronic diseases later on. Adults who eat a healthy diet live longer and have a lower risk of obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain cancers. Healthy eating can help people with chronic disease to manage their chronic disease conditions and avoid complications. Most people in the United States do not eat healthy and consume too much sodium, saturated fat, and sugars, which and increasing their risk for chronic diseases. These foods are not healthy. For example, fewer than 1 in 10 adults, or adolescents and adults does not eat enough fruits or vegetables. And in addition, 6 in 10 people, young people, ages 2 to 19, and 5 in 10 adults consume less sugary drink, which we know is not healthy for our bodies. It was taken from an article found in the Center for Disease website. A plant-based diet offers numerous advantages for promoting a healthful lifestyle. Just to name a few, plant-based diets help with heart health, weight management, lower blood pressure, reduce the risk of type 2 diseases, and they help prevent certain cancers, digestive health, improve gut microbiome. It also helps with bone health, anti-inflammatory effects, and longevity. A plant-based diet. This is found in numerous researches that have been done over the years. So how can we implement this into our daily lives. Genesis 1:29, it's outlined there exactly what we need to do, what we need to eat in order to maintain a healthy body. And God says, behold, I gave you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a yielding tree seed. To you it shall be for meat. So God already planted all the fruits and vegetables that we need so that it can sustain us. God's original plan was for us to eat fruits, nuts, grains, legumes, vegetables. So how can we implement this for 2024? How can we implement a healthy diet so that it's sustainable, so that we can have a healthy lifestyle? So I believe in a plant-based diet. Maybe you're still struggling with trying to do that, or maybe you don't plan to do that, but that's okay. I just encourage you to cut back on animal intake, because research has found that when you consume lots of animal products, it does affect your health. So start cutting back on some of the of animal intake. Exchange a healthy version of food for an unhealthy one. So you might, start with one thing. Maybe you like to drink maybe a lot of sugary drinks, for example. So start cutting back. Instead of drinking 2 cans of sugary juice for the day, just maybe drink 1 or 1.5. Start going back slowly, because we want this to be sustainable. And by doing things slowly and forming a habit, it's going to work. As Dr. Sankey said earlier, it takes almost 260 plus days to change a habit. So it might take some time, but once you put a plan into effect and decide that this is what you want to do, that is important. So that's the key. You must start somewhere. So but decrease, the purchase of unhealthy food. I know one of my big things, if I have unhealthy foods in my house, I'm going to eat it. It just, they're tempting me. So what I do not buy food that I know that is unhealthy. All those snacks, chip, cookies, all of those things, they're out of my cabinet. Do not purchase them. If I feel for something sweet, I don't have it. So what I do, I go eat a fruit. It's much healthier than eating, those cookies or, something like that. So let us try to be purposeful. This is very important. Be purposeful. Read your labels. There are a lot of harmful chemicals and additives in foods. We need to read those labels. If you cannot pronounce those words, do not purchase it. It's some chemical that some man made up and put it in the food so that it can encourage us to keep coming back for more and more. So let's read our labels. It must be simple. It must, whatever is in that can or box or what have you, it must be something that you can pronounce, you can understand. It has to be some type of food. Once it starts going into all these chemical names, it's something that we need to just leave alone. So read your labels, purchase items that, that are healthy, try cutting back on foods on animal products especially. And if you're going to eat animal products, I encourage you, please be careful. Those products, farm-raised animals are much better than, or free-range animals are much better than eating those meats that are, these animals, they grow up on big farms. They just feed them all of these chemicals and foods and beans and soya and grains. Cows were never made to eat grains. A cow has about 5 or so stomachs. God created the cattle to eat grass. And when we change the food of these animals and we consume it, we are consuming what those animals eat. So if you're going to, please be aware of where these animals, where this meat came from. Be very cognizant about that and try to start cutting back. In conclusion, I want to leave with you 1 John 3, 2, where it says, "Beloved, I wish for you above all things that you prosper and be in good health." So God wants us to prosper, and He wants us to be in good health. So let us take this into consideration that we have presented, that Dr. Sankey and myself has presented here to you today. You know, these 8 laws. By following these 8 laws of health, it's going to improve your health. It's going to give you longevity, and it's going to give you a sense of well-being and positive attitude and outlook in life that you are going to feel so good about yourself. You're going to want to tell others about what you have done. So take care and God bless. Thank you for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Emily. You know, as we're launching the new year, this is a great conversation about what we can do different, not only because it's the new year, but because we want to affect our entire lifetime. And that's what's exciting to me, is because what we're talking about now is not just for 2024, but it's for the rest of our life, that we want to make choices that glorify God. Whatever we eat, drink, or do, we want to get the rest that we need, take the vacation that we need, make sure that our environment is not polluted with chemicals, and that we're drinking the best water ever. You know, we didn't talk about activity. That was mine. I actually went over that, but many times people say, I need to walk, and that's exactly right. 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 10,000 steps, just work it up incrementally. Don't overdo it, because you don't want to stretch or strain your body, but you want to make sure that you are moving. Keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Our trust in God is so critical. Every single day, we should have a date with God in the morning or in the evening, where we sit and read and listen to Him speaking to us. That should be our utmost thing that will help us on this journey of living well. Interpersonal relationships, I love what you said, Emilyn, that people live longer when they have very positive interpersonal relationships. So if you have a strained relationship with anyone, make sure this year, as soon as you can, get it corrected, because again, that's affecting your health if it is not being corrected. Our outlook should be positive. And I love what you said, build ourselves up. Many times we tear ourselves down. Oh, I didn't do that right. I should have done that better. But there's a lot of things that we do right, and many times we don't give ourselves credit. And then nutrition, plant-based is the best. But again, all of this is a gradual increase over time that we adopt these habits. And so we want to make sure that we're practicing the 8 health laws, because we know that it helps prevent disease. We also know that it helps preserve our life, and it also helps prolong our life as well. I see there's a question in the chat. What can you use for fruit trees? What is that, Miss Lee?
For natural, to be natural.
Okay.
Instead of using chemical on your trees,
Mm-hmm.
what could you use?
We're going to answer that, Emilyn.
Oh, I'm talking about like pesticide?
Right, instead of using the pesticide,
Right.
is there some natural ingredients that you know of that we could use?
Right.
Because I have a papaya tree, and the fruits gets infected.
Oh,
You know? And I was gonna use the chemical, but I guess I want to use chemical.
Yeah.
So
You know, I know one time I Googled something about like natural pesticide.
remedy.
Yes. And I think I came across something with cinnamon, there's stuff that you can use.
Okay, maybe I could Google.
Yes.
Okay, check
Because I think even vinegar,
vinegar was one of
when
the
you
things.
mentioned vinegar,
vinegar and orange peel, So there were some things I came across that you can use in place of these chemicals, because they're not good for the environment, they're not good for us.
And then I go to the body, right?
Yeah, I did a quick search. It says garlic. You can make a garlic spray, chili pepper spray, has some vegetable oil spray, baking soda.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that question, Lee.
This has been a very excellent presentation. This is very so important and so real for everything that we do
Mhm.
and everything we need to be doing so that we stay healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Mhm.
very
Yeah.
much for this.
It's a daily, you know, it's not like we can wait till the first of the year because some people are not making it to the first of the year.
Right.
Our bodies have to make sure that we're trying to keep them in check every day, at least doing a little something that contributes to our health and our well-being. So we know that every presentation that follows this next week and the following week and will build on really these principles. We maybe talk about heart health or grief, but all of these all tie into that because it's important that we make the choices that we make are going to build on all of these health principles. All the topics will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Okay. Well, I thank you all for listening. Next week, we're going to have a personal testimony of one of our beloved who is normally on the line. She's going to share about her experience. She went to a lifestyle center, had a wonderful, positive experience. And we want you to hear firsthand how making lifestyle changes can affect your life for a lifetime. So you're going to get a chance to hear that testimony next week. Please invite a friend to attend. I know this is during the holidays. We're just kind of starting the new year back up, but we build our audience back up because we know this is very important. We're going on year number 3 for Living Well. We praise God that you'll have stayed by with us and have been consistent. Anything else, Emily, we need to just kind of cap off with about steps to living well?
No, I think you summarized it very well at the there. You know, it's a process. It's not something that is going to happen suddenly.
Absolutely.
So when we get, maybe just, we go back into because I sometimes fall back and do things that I'm not supposed to do. But the thing is, I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to say, oh,
Right.
I shouldn't have said that. But you know what?
Absolutely.
I am going to do better next time. I'm going to, yeah. So when we falter, don't get discouraged. Keep going. Just
Right.
keep pressing on.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. I agree. If you fall back, get back up and keep going the next day. There's always another day. All right.